Most fans know about the Aunt Viv drama, but that was just the surface. Hidden tensions, near recasts, and shocking behind-the-scenes moments were quietly shaping the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air we thought we understood. Today, Tatyana Ali is finally breaking her silence, and what she reveals will leave you rethinking everything you believed about the series. Stay with us. The truth is far stranger than the sitcom ever showed. Throughout the 90s and early 2000s, American audiences were glued to NBC's The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Created by Andy and Susan Borowitz, the sitcom followed Will Smith, a quick-witted teenager from West Philadelphia, whose life is turned upside down when his mother sends him to live with his wealthy aunt and uncle in Bel-Air after he gets into trouble back home. The clash between Will's street-smart personality and the Banks family's polished lifestyle became the heart of the show's comedy. The Banks household introduced viewers to a memorable cast: Hillary, the spoiled eldest; Carlton, the overly proper perfectionist; Ashley, the sweet younger sister; and their parents, Uncle Phil, firm but loving, and Aunt Vivian, strong and fair. Add in Jeffrey, the dry and sarcastic butler, and the dynamic became even funnier. While Will tried to fit into their privileged world, his humble background gave the series its charm and fresh perspective. Over 6 seasons and 148 episodes, the sitcom became the launchpad for Will Smith's Hollywood stardom. He and James Avery, Uncle Phil, appeared in every episode, anchoring the emotional center of the show. Nostalgia surged in 2020 when the cast reunited for an HBO Max special, and in 2022, a dramatic reimagining titled Bel-Air introduced the story to a new generation. But behind the character who left West Philadelphia for the glamour of Bel-Air was a real-life struggle almost no one saw coming: Will's financial troubles. Despite the flashy lifestyle his character portrayed, Will Smith entered The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air nearly broke. Before sitcom fame, Will had risen to success as part of the rap duo DJ Jazzy Jeff and The Fresh Prince. Their album He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper went triple platinum and earned a Grammy. But success came with a price. Will later admitted he spent wildly on designer clothes, luxury cars, and every indulgence celebrity life offered. What he didn't do was pay his taxes. By the time the IRS caught up with him, he owed a staggering $2.8 million. His follow-up album flopped so badly that he joked it went double plastic, and suddenly, he had nothing left. The IRS seized most of his belongings, and for a brief time, he had only $5 in his bank account. In a 60 Minutes interview, he recalled borrowing $10,000 from a friend just to get by. Then came the meeting that changed everything. Producer Benny Medina pitched him the idea that would become The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will took the job, but even then he didn't earn much. For the first 3 years, the IRS garnished 70% of his sitcom salary to repay his debt. It took years for him to climb out of that financial hole, but The Fresh Prince ultimately became the lifeline that saved his career and transformed him into one of Hollywood's biggest stars. The long feud between Will Smith and Janet Hubert. On screen, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air looked like pure joy. But behind the scenes, tension simmered, especially between Will Smith and Janet Hubert, the original Aunt Viv from 1990 to 1993. When she was replaced by Daphne Maxwell Reid after 3 seasons, fans were confused. Years later, Hubert hinted that Smith's influence played a major role in her exit. Hubert never held back. In a 2011 interview with TMZ, she called Smith an egomaniac and vowed she would never join a reunion with him. She claimed that when she asked Will for help negotiating better contracts for the cast, he refused, a decision she took personally. Her resentment only grew from there. For decades, Hubert believed Smith had the power to affect her career, even telling Jet in 1993, "He has a lot of clout. It's too bad it's a black-on-black attack." She accused him of orchestrating her dismissal and blamed both Will and Alfonso Ribeiro for spreading damaging rumors about her behavior on set. Will didn't stay silent either. In a radio interview, he suggested Hubert wanted the show to revolve around her, adding, "To her, I'm just the Antichrist." Their feud became one of the longest-running and most bitter in sitcom history. Yet after nearly 30 years, something unexpected happened. During the 2020 HBO reunion special, the two finally talked face-to-face. Hubert opened up about the personal struggles she faced at the time: a difficult pregnancy, a troubled home life, and financial stress. Smith acknowledged his lack of sensitivity and the pressure he placed on everyone during those years. In that emotional moment, they let go of decades of anger and found closure at last. Their reconciliation became one of the most surprising endings to a Hollywood feud: the real-life tension between Carlton and his TV mom. While Janet Hubert's feud with Will Smith is well known, her behind-the-scenes conflict with Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton, may have been even deeper. The two reportedly clashed throughout their time on the show, and Ribeiro has never hidden how difficult their relationship was. In a 2009 stand-up performance, Alfonso bluntly described Hubert as insane and claimed she went nuts during her run on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He said her behavior became increasingly disruptive by the second season, recalling moments when she would suddenly go off on people during filming. According to him, the cast eventually found her attitude impossible to work with, creating serious tension on set. Hubert, however, has long maintained that both Ribeiro and Will Smith damaged her career with false rumors, a claim she has repeated for decades. What actually happened between them remains unclear. The show aired long before social media, screenshots, or behind-the-scenes evidence, and so much of the truth about that conflict is likely to remain a mystery forever. Karen Parsons' first reaction to The Fresh Prince. Hilary Banks, spoiled, stylish, and hilarious, became one of the most iconic characters on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But Karen Parsons, who played her, almost never auditioned for the role. In a 2014 NPR interview, Parsons admitted she had little interest in the show at first. Working as a restaurant hostess at the time, she couldn't imagine a sitcom starring a rapper being worth her attention. Who would watch that? She remembered thinking. Parsons also wasn't the original choice for Hilary. The character was written as a glamorous model type, and she didn't see herself that way at all. She nearly skipped the audition because she thought she didn't fit the description, but it wasn't her attempt to play cool that won her the part. It was the natural, bratty attitude she brought into the room, which perfectly matched Hilary's personality. Even after being cast, she kept her day job until the show officially became a hit. Looking back, it's hard to imagine anyone else capturing Hilary's charm and comedic timing the way Karen Parsons did. Alfonso Ribeiro nearly lost the role after the pilot. It's impossible to imagine The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air without Alfonso Ribeiro's Carlton Banks, the quirky dance moves, the buttoned-up personality, the lovable nerdiness. But surprisingly, Ribeiro almost didn't make it past the pilot episode. In a 2017 interview with Digital Spy, Alfonso revealed that producers seriously considered recasting Carlton after the pilot was filmed. "There was a moment where I was basically hired and rehired," he recalled. Fortunately, the producers changed their minds and Ribeiro kept the role. The decision paid off. His portrayal of Carlton became one of the most memorable parts of the series, and it's hard to picture anyone else pulling off those V-neck sweaters, bow ties, or the iconic Carlton dance, the hidden pain behind Jazz's famous exit scenes. One of the funniest running gags on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was Uncle Phil tossing Will's friend Jazz out of the house. Fans loved it, but for DJ Jazzy Jeff, who played Jazz, those scenes were far from painless. For years, people believed the production reused the same shot to save money. But in a 2015 interview with HuffPost, Jazzy Jeff explained that the scene was actually filmed many times. and the only limit was how much his body could take. "You end up doing it about 40 times," he said. "By the time they got the take, I was black and blue." Eventually, he had to put his foot down. "I'm not a stuntman," he told the crew. While the moment became a fan favorite, behind the laughter was a lot of bruises and real discomfort. A non-traditional beginning. The early days of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air were shaped by unusual auditions and behind-the-scenes quirks. Believe it or not, the confident Will Smith we know today started the show with almost no acting experience. Terrified of forgetting his lines, he memorized everyone's dialogue, not just his own. Karen Parsons, who played Hilary Banks, later shared a funny memory from those early episodes. Will would quietly mouth her lines while she was speaking, trying to commit every word to memory. Smith eventually admitted he did this throughout rehearsals and filming. If you watch the first season closely, you can actually see him doing it. It was strange, but it worked, and it helped him grow into the actor he became. As for Alfonso Ribeiro, his path to becoming Carlton was just as unconventional. Fans now associate Carlton with sweaters, khakis, and that legendary dance, but Ribeiro actually showed up to his audition in a tracksuit. Years later, during the cast reunion, he laughed about how bizarre it was to audition for a wealthy, preppy teen while dressed like that. Still, he nailed the role, and the rest is history. His now iconic preppy style almost started in the complete opposite direction, a funny twist considering how unforgettable Carlton Banks eventually became. Tatyana Ali's most embarrassing moment on set. Even Tatyana Ali, the sweet and innocent Ashley Banks, had her share of awkward moments on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Her most embarrassing? Her very first kiss, which happened on camera and in front of an entire crew. In a 2018 interview with Us Weekly, Tatyana recalled how terrifying it was. To make matters worse, Alfonso Ribeiro and Karen Parsons quietly gathered behind the camera to watch. "Who has a first kiss like that?" she laughed. Between the huge cameras, the crew, and her on-screen siblings observing, she said she wanted to die. Years later, though, she can laugh about it. She even joked about the experience in a 2013 HuffPost interview, proving she long ago made peace with that cringeworthy moment and learned to embrace the lighter side of growing up on set. A masterclass in life and acting, James Avery. James Avery, the unforgettable Uncle Phil, was the moral center of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and a guiding force for the entire cast. His influence ran far deeper than the character he played. Even after his passing in 2013, his co-stars still speak of him with a mix of admiration and grief. Tatyana Ali said he taught her one of the most important lessons of her career. "We are here to bring dignity, to represent, to push forward." Will Smith often credits Avery for shaping him as both an actor and a man. Avery understood the weight placed on young black performers, and he pushed Will to rise to the responsibility. "You have to represent," he once told him. "You're paving the way." That guidance is on full display in one of the show's most emotional scenes, when Will's character breaks down after being abandoned by his father. Will struggled with the scene at first, but Avery encouraged him to tap into the real pain beneath the script. After Will delivered the now iconic performance, Avery embraced him and whispered, "Now that's acting." To the world, he was Uncle Phil. To the cast, he was a mentor, a father figure, and a living example of purpose. Avery didn't just teach them how to act, he showed them how to live with meaning. Culture of African descent is not uniform. One of the most groundbreaking things The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air accomplished was its portrayal of a black family whose identity wasn't defined by a single stereotype. The Banks family was wealthy, educated, and accomplished. Yet each character carried a different worldview, proving that black culture is not one uniform experience. Karen Parsons, who played Hilary Banks, remembered pushing back when writers tried to mold Hillary into a more traditionally strong black woman. She believed Hillary's flaws and eccentricities were just as valuable. "You can learn a lot from imperfect people too," she said. Allowing Hillary to remain unapologetically herself helped broaden the show's representation. The show also used humor to tackle serious issues without losing its heart. DJ Jazzy Jeff recalled a scene where Jazz refused to lower his hands while a white bailiff pointed a gun at him, a moment that was funny on the surface but painfully real for many black men. In another powerful episode, Will and Carlton were racially profiled during a traffic stop, forcing Carlton to confront a reality he had never experienced. Will Smith later explained that behind the jokes were intentional, meaningful messages. The cast played a role in keeping the storytelling authentic. Daphne Maxwell Reid, the second Aunt Vivian, once told the writers that a particular line would never fly in a real black household, joking that a father would knock his child into next week if they said it. Their honesty ensured the show reflected real life, not cliches. Donald Trump was a nightmare on set. Long before his time in the White House, and long before hamburgers became a headline, Donald Trump had a strangely busy acting career, popping up in films and sitcoms from Home Alone 2 to The Nanny. One of those cameos was on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and according to people who were there, it was far from a pleasant experience. Trump appeared in the 1994 episode For Sale by Owner. A crew member later told Newsweek that Trump arrived irritated, unhappy with his lines, and convinced they weren't funny enough. He reportedly complained to executive producer Gary H. Miller, who gently reminded him that while he'd never pretend to know real estate, he did know comedy, and assured Trump the audience would laugh. But the reassurance didn't help. The crew member claimed that Trump later threw his stapled script pages onto the floor in frustration. His wife at the time, Marla Maples, quietly knelt down to gather the scattered papers herself. "I bent down to help her," the crew member recalled. "She kept saying, 'I got them, I'm so sorry.' It was such a rude thing for him to do. So disrespectful. He just wasn't pleasant." As these stories show, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't just a beloved sitcom. It was a workplace filled with real tensions, private struggles, unforgettable lessons, and moments the audience never got to see. And now that Tatyana Ali and her castmates are finally opening up, the truth behind the laughter feels more meaningful than ever. But what do you think? Which behind-the-scenes secret surprised you the most, and why? Let us know in the comments below. We read everyone. See you next time.